Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, all honor, all glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakakwadash. All right, double honors to the apostles, elders at Great Millstone, shalom, to Akim, pushing the work in truth and in sincerity. All right, so coming back at you with another lesson through the Spirit. All right, something quick, something I was just meditating on, and you can never, kind of meditate on this enough. Is the fact that, of course, this truth is a privilege. And like I say here, it's a mighty thing to understand the Lord's judgments. All right. This puts you ahead of the game, so to speak. It keeps you, understanding and keeps you centered and grounded when times start to change. All right. And that's why we reference the scriptures. We go back to the scriptures all the time. All right, because that's our reference point. It's our standard. It's our it's our how can you say it's another word for standard, but the point where we rally, all right, is in these scriptures. Okay, in Psalms 119, a good chapter to read. Goes into how, here, let me just go get it real quick. How we love the precepts. Through thy precepts I get understanding. All right. But because this ain't forwarded to everyone. Everyone ain't worthy of it. All right. Everybody's not worthy of it, man. All right. And let's see. Here we go. Let's see here. Let me see. Salakia. Here we go. Psalms 119, 104. Through thy precepts I get understanding. Therefore I hate every false way. And the more you read, all right, and the scripture said, with all I get understanding. So, all right, we're reading, but we're reading to digest it so that we can, so it can become a part of us, so to speak, So that's the point. We're not just reading to read, all right, and to know, but to understand, all right. And so as we read these precepts, we understand we're reading the Lord's judgments, and he has revealed to us, his purpose, his power, all right, which the world, quite frankly, they deny it, and again, this puts us ahead of the game, because when times do start to change, all right, for the worse, we'll understand why they change. We'll understand it's the Lord's judgment, all right, and we can just revert back to understanding alone, which is going to basically put everything in its proper place or in perspective. Okay, so very basic precepts. Isaiah 33:6, of course, it says, "And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure." All right. So the wisdom, what knowledge? The wisdom and knowledge of the scripture. All right. Not man's wisdom, but the Lord's wisdom. Okay. This is what's going to keep us stable in turbulent times, when things start to, pretty much getting shaked up. All right. All right. It says in strength of salvation. Okay. And we're going to have confidence and a clear understanding. All right. And a surety, being assured of what we know already, which everything is in the Lord's hands. All right. Literally. Okay. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. All right. And so the fact that we fear the Lord, the fact that he is our rallying point, the fact that we trust in him, that's going to be a treasure in the time where money is not going to be of value. Money is not going to be able to save you. The items in your house, the materials that you got ain't going to be able to save you, because the Lord is about to throw a monkey wrench in the game. People that think that they're secure, he's going to make them unsecure. And it's going to be a spiritual upheaval. It's going to be a spiritual casting down. All right. Okay. And that's important to understand. So, and it's always, look, man, call Allah like how about Shemi Shai for this understanding, because this ain't given to everybody. All right. Most are blinded in this world. And the scriptures go into that, 2 Ezra 4 and 5 really quick. All right. Or 2 Corinthians, I said 2 Ezra. All right. And again, I'm not trying to make this too long. All right. I'm going to start up at 3. 2 Corinthians 4 and 3. It says, but if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost. All right. And that's clear cut. All right. And so if you don't understand this gospel or this good spell, all right, and if you're not influenced by it or invigorated by it, well, you're lost. Okay. Because there's no private interpretation. Either you get it or you don't. And if you don't, we're moving on. All right. Because this was for the word. Those that received it, they're worthy of it. Okay. And those who have it, well, they're just lost and they're going to remain lost. Okay. Unless it's by way of some miracle, the Lord opens your understanding. Okay. It's the Lord that's doing the blocking and the Lord can wake up. He can wake up anybody, or he can put anybody to sleep. Okay, it's all in the Lord's hands. All right, 2 Corinthians 4 and 4, it says, in whom the God of this world hath blinded the minds of them which believe not. So the God of this world, right, which is Esau, Edom, all right, and they come in the power of Satan, right? So you worship everything that the so-called white man deems is relevant and exalts to the heavens. All right. And that is clouding the minds of everybody. All right. Who don't have this gospel, who don't have this understanding. OK, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Hamashiach, who is the image of God, should shine unto them. All right. So unless the Lord shines his light into your dark soul, ain't no getting the truth. And we see a lot of people go off their own premonition. A lot of people have their own vain opinion. All right. And also I wanted to mention too, man, when things, this truth is going to keep us grounded, and I know we watching what Esau is doing. Sometimes he turns on it. He'll turn up the switch and, and we're suspecting things to go completely awry. All right. And then he'll turn the switch off and then it's like, oh, damn, but that right there, that's still the Lord's control, because everything is being done gradually. OK, so you have to think with them coming to an agreement with China. All right. Trump administration reveals bombshell trade deal with China. And the ones that's benefiting from it are the billionaires, the millionaires, the billionaires. Everybody that's suffering is the average citizen. So it's nothing but a strain or pressing down on the working class, which they deem us as slaves anyway. All right. So, the main thing is that understanding that everything is being generated. All right. Okay. But you're supposed to be giving thanks because you're ahead of the game because of the understanding the Lord's will. All right, which that ain't gonna put us when we see certain judgments come to pass, it shouldn't put you in a dark space. Yeah, it might hurt for a little while, but you gotta come up with a reasoning of that understanding that we have. Reason with yourself that okay, this is the Lord's judgments, and that's just what it is. I'm not going to fret about it because this is the way the Lord wanted it to happen. All right. There's a lot of things that we got to come accept. OK, it's not our show. So verse 6, it says, for God commanded the light for God who commanded the light to shine out of darkness hath shine in our hearts. Right. Isaiah 60:1, arise, shine, for thy light is come. Right. It's this truth. Okay. And that truth is likened unto a light in a a gross dark place. All right. It says to give the light of the knowledge of the glory of God in the face, all right, of Yahushua Mashiach. But we have this treasure in earthen vessels. So we have the heavenly, somewhat of a heavenly breakdown of things in this earthen vessel. All right, that the excellency of the power may be of God and not of us. Right. So we're not essentially getting it on our own. It's given to us. All right. And much glory needs to go to the Most High Yahweh Shem Shai. All right. We are troubled on every side, yet not distressed. We are perplexed, but not in despair. So, yeah, you go through your normal afflictions. All right. Yeah, you're going to feel like you're going to be in a position where you don't know what to do. You're going to feel kind of lost. All right. But that's what trusting in the Lord is all about. Okay. All right. But it says persecuted, but not forsaken. All right. Cast down, but not destroyed. All right. And the scriptures say you're going to have affliction in the world. All right. But we find peace through Yahushua Mashiach. All right. Always bearing about in the body the dying of the Lord Yahushua. So Yahushua sacrifices on the frontlets of your mind what he had to suffer, what he suffered for. All right. Ultimately, to rekindle the relationship that was lost at once upon a time between the nation of Israel and our God, our power, Yahweh. All right. He broke down that wall. So that's something to be considered. All right. That the life also of Yahushua might be made manifest in our body. So we're going through these things with the most important things on our mind. All right. Okay. Which, of course, involves that sacrifice and everything that came with it. All right. So let's go. 1 Corinthians. Like I said, I'm going to try not to be long. All right. Just something I was just meditating on. All right. You know, it's a mighty thing to understand the Lord's judgment, especially in these times. So 1 Corinthians 2:7. And it reads, it says, I'm going to go up a few verses. 1 Corinthians 2:4 says, in my speech, it says, in my preaching was not with enticing words of man's wisdom, but in demonstration of the Spirit and of power. All right, which the Spirit is his word. Okay. And bringing out the fullness of it, precept upon precept, line upon line, because it is likened unto a puzzle piece. All right, it is likened unto somewhat coded, and you got to put the code together. All right, and those are the precepts. Okay, that your faith should not stand in the wisdom of men, but in the power of God. All right, that's right. Our wisdom don't stand, or let's see, our faith doesn't stand in the wisdom of men. All right, but in the power of the Most High. Howbeit we speak wisdom among them that are perfect, yet not the wisdom of this world, nor of the princes of this world that came to naught. That's right, because their wisdom is going to fail. But we speak the wisdom of God in a mystery, even the hidden wisdom, which God ordained before the world unto our glory. See, so it's for our glory. All right, and it's a hidden wisdom. All right. And that's much to be appreciated of. Okay. Okay. So John 4:1-4. All right. This is a quick hitter. John, let me see. Point being in 5. Well, yeah, I'll just read it. John 1:5. And the light shineth in darkness, and the darkness comprehended it not. All right. And who's the darkness? The world is the darkness. Even our people, they're in darkness. All right. Gross darkness to people. Okay, so 2nd Ezra 8:20. I'm about to close out so we can get back to work. So 2nd Ezra 8:20, it says, O Lord, thou that dwellest in the everlastings, or everlastingness, which beholdest from above things in the heaven and in the air, whose throne is inestimable, all right, whose glory may not be comprehended. See, So his glory ain't comprehended. All right. You can't comprehend the Most High's glory. All right. Before whom the host of angels stand with trembling. All right. See, so even the angels, the powerful angels, stand in trembling. All right. At the Lord's glory. All right. Whose service is conversant in wind and fire, whose word is true. That, and this is what I want to really capture here. Whose service is conversant in wind and fire, whose words is true. Because at the end of the day, he's the highest judge, and he has the power over all the elements. He has the power, the ultimate power. Okay. It says, and sayings constant, whose commandment is strong. You see, and ordinance fearful, whose look drieth up the depths, and indignation maketh the mountains to melt away, which the truth witnesseth. You see, and we witness it as well. Okay. All right. And so at the end of the day, all right, who can overcome this? Nobody can overcome his judgment. So, with evil being in the world, all right, ultimately, the Most High, with all his power, he's the one that's going to set things straight. All right. And we can be comforted with that. All right. So, even though they say knowing is half the battle, but that's a large portion of the battle. And we know, which puts us ahead. All right. So don't be afraid. Don't be, mad. There's no reason to be. It's the Lord's judgment. So with that, Lord willing, this was edifying. Until next time. All right. I'm going to say shalom.